And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. It is Wednesday. Am I right, Odie? Wednesday?
Yeah.
It has been a blur this week with everything that's going on. If you're waking up and you're in the DeKalb area, first we need to report. Let's pull this up. There's about 1,200 people without power. 1,160 is what we're showing here. We've got two areas here, 511 here northeast of Moscow, and then west of Moscow, southwest, another 700 without power there. All of this is going to be to the west of DeKalb. Most likely what has happened is a tree has fell on a line. We'll be in touch with EMEPA here in just a minute to make sure what the details are and where they are in repairing this. And again, this happened about 10, 12 minutes ago. So if you're just waking up and that power is out and it's cold, we know. Currently, right now in Meridian, it's going to be colder most likely in the DeKalb area. 12 at Keyfield Meridian with a 2 on the wind chill factor. That's bad. As we kept pointing out, it would be somewhere between 0 and -1 to 10, and we're at 2 on the wind chill factor this morning. It is cold. The warming station's still open this morning for folks that need that, as they are cold in the area. Now, we're going to have another round of this coming up this weekend, so be prepared for that as another round of cold weather comes in and starts to freeze next week. We'll warm up. Road conditions, we'll talk about that in a minute. Pretty much we've had a good night. There weren't any major accidents after midnight, thank heavens. We did have a fire that we will talk about here in just a little bit that I think destroyed a home. Be careful with everything you're doing as cold as it is. We'll be right back. Let's go get a good word now. Let's go to Collinsville to the First Baptist Church, and we'll be right back.
The Holy Spirit, through Apostle Paul, makes a very interesting commandment for us in Ephesians 4:27. There we read the following imperative: and give no opportunity to the devil. Now, what an interesting commandment. It comes on the heels of him saying that we should not sin in our anger and let the sun go down on our anger. I believe it also, though, applies to the verse even before that one where Paul tells us to stop lying and to start telling the truth. And I believe it also applies to the verses that come after verse 27 where Paul addresses theft and corrupting talk. You see, all of these situations would give the devil an opportunity to do what he would love to do. He would love to devour you and destroy you. He would love to compromise you and cancel you. He would love to shut you up and shut you down. And all of these things surrounding Ephesians 4:27 are opportunities for the devil to do this. So Apostle Paul begs us, give no opportunity to the devil. Don't lie. Don't sin in your anger. Don't steal. Don't use corrupting language. And not just these, but any and all sins. Don't do it. Beloved, don't give the devil an inch, because if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. Give no opportunity to the devil. And may we take this command seriously. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. As we start looking at Mississippi Power, most of this is not going to be in this area. We do have a few folks from the Newton area this morning that are without power that's on Mississippi. Let me pull this up. Here's what we've got. Most of the power outages, and this right here is going to show us that it's somewhere around, I think, 1, if I'm reading that correctly. Yeah, in that area. Now, as you go down, you're going to have major power outages here of about 1,000 in this area down here. This is going to be the huge outage right there on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. 638. Temperature is not as cold on the Gulf Coast for them. Let's go back and double check here as we still look at this with the MEPA. I did get a report of possibly some flickering on the east side of Kemper, but about 1,200 people right there around Kemper County on MEPA without power. The guys are doing that. Odie, have you heard anything about roads this morning? Anything that is different?
Not really. A lot of rural roads still covered, but
the rural route
still seems to be okay, except for the interstate.
Rural routes, be careful. And what I mean by the rural route, if you live on a county road somewhere in Lauderdale County, most likely hasn't been traveled much. Now, as we get into what's happening around the Meridian area, our major concern is still I-20, mostly in that Tooms-Suba area. Not to say that there aren't some others. And let me see if I can go over here real quick and pull this up. I should have pulled this up before we went live. But let's show this, what MDOT has this morning. Let me go back here and hit this button here, and we'll look at the highways. Let's zoom in on here in Lauderdale County. And if you'll notice right there, they're still showing that there is, when they put those marks on there, that means there's a little traffic delay there. And that's going to be that eastbound lane on 20. That's still the major concern. I remember last night they were trying to put up signs to when you come into Mississippi in these areas to use one lane. One lane was better than the other. We kept having wrecks from Russell all the way to the state line. But as we look at this now, then we've got a little bit of a slow traffic area coming into Meridian right there. And we go across some areas in these curves coming up on these bridges out past Lost Gap. And as you go toward Jackson, it looks to be not anything toward the Mississippi River until you get to Lake, a little place there. So altogether, highways are looking better. Now, there are these, as we pointed out, black ice in areas. Now, a big question there about Highway 145 by the Evangel Temple. As of dark, you could go up the hill, could you not?
Correct.
So if you were going to attempt that this morning, we are assuming here, because I hadn't had anyone cross it that I've spoken to this morning, but it was passable last night. So hopefully that is still good there. Debbie, maybe that answers you. If you do travel that way, drive slow. Don't get in a hurry on that. The biggest trouble that we had there at the Evangel Temple yesterday was not even going up the hill. It was on the other side in between there and the bypass. That was where we kept having the wrecks and 18-wheelers going off in the ditches yesterday. So that is where we were on that. Now, again, I've had several people say that they came in from Clark County into Meridian. They didn't tell me the exact path that they traveled, but didn't have any trouble. Let's look at 59 here as we'll look at this. I don't see anything showing up from MDOT that has traffic backed up. Now, 45, if you'll see here, right there. If you're coming into Meridian there, this is where you go to the Evangel Temple. If you were to keep going straight, that bypass, there's a couple of areas right here that are showing that we have some issues. Slow traffic, and that looks to be the northbound lane here on the bypass. That's going around Meridian. But again, that area right out here around Tumsuba, go extra slow if you're going to be in those areas this morning traveling. Now, there's a lot of businesses that are going to take delays. You can find all of that on our website. If you'll go there, you can click on, and if you haven't sent yours yet, be sure to add that to our list. Send us an inbox, or you can put it in the comments under that. And let me just slide back over here and show everyone where this is, where you can do that. When you come to our page here, it shows that you're live right there. You go to the closings here at the top, very first thing, click that. Pops up that way, and then click that link there, and that'll take you to our website and list everything that we're aware of at this point. These are the closings for today, all of the schools. There's the colleges at the top. It goes down. Southern Accents is the last one with a 12 noon opening. Nelson Hall opening this morning at 10 o'clock. Magnolia Marine closed today, and it just goes on and on and on here. Just glance through this, check on this, and if you don't see the business and you're a little worried about it, call ahead of time. Don't make that trek to town if you don't have to, and they be closed. There's nothing more aggravating than that, to go somewhere. How many times have you done like me? Forget it's a holiday. Go to the bank, and you're the only one there. It happens. We know that. So be careful. I think the Mardi Gras, me and Odie were vacuuming a minute ago as we had sparkle everywhere in the studio.
It was gleaming.
It was gleaming, the glitter. Well, that was put in last night. We'll talk about that in a little while this morning as well. Good morning, Joyce. Hope you're doing well as you're waking up as well. 22nd Avenue Bridge this morning. I hadn't had anyone cross it as of yet that has sent in anything on your travels. If you see this, I haven't spoken to any police officers today either of their roundabout, but there's been absolutely no indication that everything is horrible. There's usually a lot of chatter here and there, and I get messages. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have an issue. Just be slow, and we'll get updated services answers here in just a little while. As we look at a few of the headlines this morning, let's get into this of Hulk Hogan. Well, we have to give credit. If you remember Hulk Hogan, what was that, a month and a half ago? He became a Christian, got baptized. We're proud of him. Florida. This is real good of Hulk. He come up on a wreck, rescued a young girl that was trapped inside of a car that was wrecked. So kudos go out to Hulk Hogan this morning. Did you ever notice the flashing signs on roadways? And every now and then there'll be some kind of a funny on there about buckling up. Well, the federal government is going to step further into your lives and not going to allow states moving forward to do that anymore. Can't do that. It's all got to be serious. Arizona even does a contest each year for the funniest. It's cute. How about how to buckle up to mother-in-laws and Santa sees you when you're speeding? I mean, that's pretty cute.
Yeah.
But they won't be allowed to do that after the federal government is getting involved. Never good, is it? Less government is what I've always believed. Some old boys that started this country thought that too.
Yep.
We had a lady die in Virginia. She fell 100 feet in a cave. They don't know what she was doing there or why she was there. But she was found 100 feet. That's awful there that happened. We lost, and this is a young age, a linebacker that was with the New Orleans Saints. Ronald Powell. Do y'all know him? 32 years old. His brother and father announced the death of him. We don't know why yet. That should be coming out before long. This doesn't shock me a bit. Anybody, I know no one in this room watched it. You may have. The Emmys? I saw a bunch of headlines and the usual, who dressed the best, who dressed the worst, and then they got talking about speeches, and it lost my interest, and so I didn't read anymore. Well, it turns out that America didn't care either. Their lowest ratings yet. They're down to 4 million people watching it. How many people are in the U.S.? It's a heap. I don't even remember the number, but it is a large amount. Yeah, they didn't get anybody to watch it. The woke is, well, coming to an end, I hope. They're going to keep pushing that agenda, though. What else do we have going on today? Who is the first to go, wait a minute, we got a back Donald? We got one. Senator Ted Cruz has stepped up, and he was the first to endorse Trump for presidency that is coming up. They are canceling they should have canceled them all. New Hampshire, we're getting ready to have another debate. This time it would be down to 2. And Nikki is refusing to do it unless Donald comes. He's not coming. Nor should he.
339 million.
So they've canceled it. It won't be happening. How many people we got?
339.9 million.
339 million people in the U.S. 4 million of them. I don't even know what the percentage of that is, but it's low.
1?
Is it even 1%?
Probably 0.1.
Boy, they lost out on that big time. Nikki is not doing so well there. Listen.
Third place runner.
Yeah, third place. She doesn't want to get over the fact even DeSantis is beating her. DeSantis, however you want to go there. What's his name? Said that Ramsey, how do you say his name?
Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy. Trump said, you're going to have a place in my administration. Y'all be ready for that. Does that mean vice president? I don't know. It'll be somewhere. He'll give him a shot, is what they're all saying there. Let's see here. Rachel Maddow. A lot of us don't know her because I've only seen her in a click and passing by. I've never been able to sit down and watch it, but I do understand that there are Americans that do watch MSNBC. You're having a meeting in a phone booth next week. Not many. Meadow is her name? What I say? Maddow? Oh, it sure is. Now that I look at
I mean, nobody else knows her anyway.
where does this come from? It doesn't matter your party affiliation. When someone's running for office, you cover the news, period. Bernie Sanders, cover it. Tell what happened and don't make anything up.
You know,
But
he was bundled up in this cold weather.
yeah, he was bundled up. Rachel tells viewers that she will not show Trump's speech, his victory speech. I couldn't get it out because, well, it was untrue. She said she could not air anything that is untrue. What is the world going on? She said it was all false, what he was saying. No, he basically said, I won. Just leave it be. But that is the big news from there. What else do we have here going on? That's bad. Me and Odie will talk about that one coming up this way. Oakland, California, mayor there. Now, if you'll remember, after she got elected, crime rose by 38%. She's now blaming it on the previous mayor. Let's forget that she's been in there 2 years. Truthfully, we all make mistakes. And when you make a mistake, you should pause and go, it's my fault. Let me fix this. A true leader will. If you make a mistake, you pause it. And you go, let's back up. Let's reassess this. Let's get somebody that can help me. We got so many across America that don't do that, don't we? We do. We'll be right back with your forecast next as we get this day underway.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our communities efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we said, cold this morning. Right now, we're sitting at 12 degrees. Can you believe that? Wind chill of 2 if you haven't cracked the front door of your home this morning. It's going to be one of those that is just brr. So bundle up before you head outside this morning and get into that forecast. All right, let's now move into our record highs and record lows and see what happened on this date as we go back to 1943. It was a warm day, 80 degrees back then. Anybody remember 2018? It almost matches today. It was 10 degrees then. We're at 12 now. So it has been colder. Let's not forget that. As we look at the forecast for today, it's going to fall somewhere between 41 and 43. Now, as you go northward toward Philadelphia, after you get past that, Stilo, those areas, the temperatures will start to drop a little bit more. 37 Columbus as we go back over to the Delta. 36 as we go down to Natchez, warming back up to 43. Over in Bamaland, we'll see 29, 30 as we look here at Alabama as it warms up. Oh, actually, this is old. 40. We're 10 degrees off on that. I didn't get a new update on that. As we see what is coming, this is the outlook through today. It's still cold. We'll see that those negative temperatures were in this 3 area. And as we mentioned, Columbus Air Force Base in the Delta up here, colder. Now, this is what's coming for the weekend. This will roll in just a little bit later. We're all in a level 2 of dangerous cold moving in before it warms up next week. So let's look at our 7-day forecast here, as we'll see there. Here we are, 41 today. Tonight's low will dip down to 21, a very cold temperature, as we'll see by tomorrow, 53 for the high. Yes, there's a chance of rain, but it won't affect anything. It'll just make roads slick as we move into a low of 34. By the weekend, this is where the temperatures again start dipping down. Not as bad as we had, 43 on Friday with a low of 15 Friday night. Pipes, pets, all of that. As we look at Saturday night, the same. 34 for a high and 16 that night. Not a day to be running around outside in a short sleeve shirt. As we get into Sunday morning, we'll get a high of 44, but still a nighttime low of 28. As we move toward the beginning of the week, temperatures move up. Look at this. We're at 12 now, 62 next week. Welcome to the South. It's a roller coaster ride, isn't it? We'll even see 71 on the 25th of January. What does that tell us? Possibly thunderstorms. We'll watch this area right along in here to make sure nothing comes out of this. We got a lot of rain moving in with highs in the mid-60s all the way toward the end of the month. As you'll look there, anywhere from a 50% chance to a 40% chance all the way through the 30th. A wet one as we wind out January. What's the fishing forecast for today? It started great at 5 o'clock this morning and good through 7 o'clock this morning. If you can stand it and stand on a creek bank, on a pond dam, I couldn't be in a boat for nothing. Wind chill of 2, no way. We'll get another shot at this, but it'll be dark. 5:15 is your next major time to fish through about 7 o'clock tonight. And yet again, a cold night, not exactly where you want to be with that. Now, What's going on with the hunting side of this? At 4:30 this morning was great, right up until we went on at 6:30. Your next time is going to be somewhere around this morning at 10:45. Let's call it a quarter till 11 till about 12. So a lunchtime hunt is good, is what we're getting here. I do highly suggest being in a shoot house. It's just not worth all that freezing degree weather, is it? Nope, it's not. Let's see what kind of comments that we've had coming in. Rose Hill, we're getting at 10 degrees this morning. Thursday, we were talking about the power in Kemper, still out. Good morning, Jeff Lewis. Miss Flory, how are you, Letha? We do pray for y'all with the loss of Hank. What a great man, done so much for our community. Knew Hank for a long, long time. Don't get any better than that. Truly, truly missed. A lot of comments there. 400 million voted, Bob said. What was that number that you gave?
390.
390, so we had 10 million more vote that weren't citizens? Shock me, someone. Shock me. Let's see. I did not get a note on Douglas orthodontist today. That was not emailed in. So if anybody's watching that works there, please let us know about that. 16 towards Philadelphia from DeKalb. I got no complaints on that. I did speak to Jody Pennington last night, Newton County. He said to his knowledge, everything was working smooth there. We're also getting 10 degrees in Wyandotte, Mississippi this morning. Glancing back here. Highway 14, Carol Rigdon asked us about Macon to Louisville. Be careful. That Highway 14 is a very rural route. Been on it many, many, many times. And much colder, that area. So if you've got to go that direction, please do that with extreme caution. Being late does not hurt one bit. As your mama used to say, better to get there safe than sorry. And let's just pull this back up on radar. Let me show y'all here where we are on that. As you'll look at this, Oxby County here, this is Highway 14 straight across there. And we're looking at 11 degrees in that area this morning. As you get into Winston County, still 11. Downtown Louisville this morning also at 11. And I'm not getting a wind chill on that one. So, but that's the area. And all this blue in the background, that's a hard freeze warning through about 10 a.m. this morning. Those areas there, be careful. If you put on your locations there as you come across, of course, that's going to be over at the Bethel Baptist Church coming in to Louisville there. All of these areas here. Over at Kosciuszko, what do we got? We're sitting at 8 degrees in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. Not the place to be. But truly, do you know 8 from 11? Is there any difference in that you can tell?
You can't tell.
There you go. All right, we're going to be back in about 4 minutes as Odie's going to go do his hair and go to the makeup room and be ready for the show. He's got, I mean, the man's got demands.
A lot of help needed.
A lot of help needed there. We'll be back in just a moment as we'll go live to tell you all the events and things that went on last night and yesterday. There's a whole heap of things to talk about. So join us here in just a moment.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.